Okay, guys, listen. Last thing what we studied in the morning was about how the rate for SN2 and SN1 changes. If you just observe one important curve here, again, this purely on the basis of experimental data for all of this. See, SN1 goes very steep. That means if you consider an rate of SN1 as compared to the rate of SN2, SN1 would be always having much higher rate. What I meant to say, suppose if you take a uh, tertiary group or tertiary alkyl halide and react that with water, then the rate at which it reacts, suppose if it is making 100 moles per second, product is becoming 100 moles per second. At the same time, a primary alkyl halide may not show that much, it may be less. So in generally, you can always say SN1 reactions are much faster as compared to that of SN2 reactions. Okay, that is an important thing we can draw out of that graph. Now, coming to this, there are certain examples which I am putting out here so that we can understand whether they will go for SN1 reaction or SN2 reaction. See here, it is a secondary position. On the secondary position, when you treat that with a weak nucleophile like water, solvolysis will happen. We can expect a carbocation to form here, and we can have OH forming at this plus and minus, okay, which means it will have a racemic mixture there. And here if you check out, with polar aprotic solvent and strong nucleophile, OH minus is a strong nucleophile, the reaction will happen with an inversion. Only one product, and that too inverted product, OH. This is what you would get. Right, make a note of that. See here, this ribbon means both sides. Ribbon means both sides, and this is wedge. Okay, this wedge means inside. Okay, this is dash wedge and this is solid wedge outside the plane. Make a note of that. Next, again in this case also it is secondary position. When we treat that with water, it will go for SN1 reaction here. So again I can have OH formation here. So OH, another mirror image of it, OH. These are the products formed, nearly 50% and 50%, which means it is undergoing racemization. In the presence of DMSO here, got it? In the presence of DMSO, still water is the nucleophile. So we will have both SN1 and SN2, but mainly the amount comes from SN1, because just now I told you the rate of SN1 is more than that of rate of SN2. Now, so therefore you can have both the products here. So if you check out, this is coming from SN2 plus this, and this. These two are yielding from SN1. Okay. So overall, if you see, the inversion is more, the percentage inversion is more, because some amount of inversion is also coming from SN2. Important point to note, at the secondary position, if you are treating with this 80% water and 20% DMSO solvent, right, then both SN1 SN2 can favor and inversion would be more. If we have 100% DMSO, that means this is the only solvent and then OH minus is the nucleophile which you are adding, complete inversion will take place. and we can see only OH be present by SN2. Note that.
Sir,
Yes, beta.
for DMSO 80 and H2O 20 also SN1 major.
Yes, beta. Major is SN1. As long as nucleophile is weak, major is SN1 at secondary position.
Okay.
Okay. Next, check out with formic acid. We will have carbocation formation here first, then HC double bond O, OH, the lone pair would attack here as a nucleophile, giving rise to O double bond C, OH and H, positive charge. This is the intermediate which you will get, and this lone pair will support here, and oxygen will take away its electrons. Write little here. So we will get this as O, C, double bond O with H, and this H plus is coming out since it is in acidic medium only. So what is the product which we are getting? The product which you are getting is actually an formate ester. So if you write it properly, it is HC double bond O CH2 pH. This is what is forming. So ester will be formed when you react with acids. This epsilon is the dielectric constant. Formic acid has quite a high dielectric constant. Next. See this reaction now. Whenever vinylic group comes, right? Suppose if this star mark is representing the isotopic carbon, right? First, we will have carbocation formation, and this carbocation is equivalent on both the sides, whether you put it on the left hand side or on the right hand side, and this side is the uh, isotopic carbon present. So now the product formation would be almost same on both the sides, which means this ETOH, as it reacts, you can have OET as one of the products here, and this side OET, and both would be almost 50-50%. Correct? Because the probability of attacking ETOH on both the sides is same, so we will get both these products. Now, where the chlorine has left, right? This is where the chlorine has left. Carbocation has formed here. Based on that, if you get a product, got it? You have written that product as OET here on the same position. We call this as the SN1 product which we got. But if the substitution by SN1 happens on the allylic position, we usually call it as SN1 dash. Okay, or I'll write this way, SN1 dash. This is SN1 dash product, and this is SN1 product. This type of dash representation is only valid for allylic positions. Please make a note.
Sir,
Yes, beta.
major is SN2, right? Here,
Major is
SN2, right?
Fourth case,
Yes, sir.
no beta, SN1. This is weak nucleophile, ETOH. If it was ETO minus, then that would have been SN2.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow we will only do this thing, okay? Tomorrow we'll only identify reagent and we'll just keep guessing the answers, like whether it will go E1, SN1, E2, SN2, alright? So tomorrow we'll do this practice. What I'm getting a feeling that there is always this element of confusion in every one of you. So we'll discuss a lot of questions like that. Just the reagent, and we'll decide on any particular substrate what product you will get. Right. Let us focus on this next question. Meanwhile, make a note of that. Next question, here also it is similar kind, where this time beta, check out here, this is a strong nucleophile. pH S minus is a very strong nucleophile. Definitely this is an SN2 product. While doing SN2 also here, what we are expecting, see what we are expecting is CH2 double bond CH here, and we have H2, bromine is leaving, and our expectation is pH S minus will attack from here, bromine will leave from here, leading to SN2 reaction. In allylic cases, what happens, pH S minus will also attack from this end by rearrangement. Okay, this is also an SN2 kind of a reaction, where at the same time bromine is leaving. So with a concerted step you will get two products here. One is CH2 double bond CH, this is CH, CH, CH2 SPH, this is one we get. The other product we will get is CH2 SPH, and let me take this one also as isotopic one. So this carbon is isotopic carbon, and we will get CH double bond CH2. This is SN2 product, and this one is SN2 dash product. Just like the definition of SN1 dash, here also it is SN2 dash. This is SN1 dash, this is SN2 dash. If the substitution happens at the allylic positions, we call it as SN1 dash or SN2 dash, depending upon whether there is a carbocation formation or a concerted step. Usually, just this simple fundamental should help you understand. See, whenever we have a conjugation like this, got it? If you consider a conjugated diene with a double bond, okay? Now suppose if at all I say there is H plus coming here, I mean if at all we are keeping it in an acidic medium, you have done the addition reactions. Tell me between 1 and 2 which one whose rate will be faster? Between 1 and 2 whose rate will be faster? Okay. It is not just about H plus, any type of an addition, or because alkenes usually go for electrophilic addition, not nucleophilic addition, right? This is what we have learned in addition reactions. See, when it comes to conjugated dienes, in conjugated dienes, due to the complete resonance happening throughout all the carbon chains, both of these orbitals at the end, these two, correct? Here the HOMO as well as the LUMO, right? LUMO would be at the lower energy, HOMO would be at the higher energy in dienes. Very important speciality of dienes. So in dienes, the electrons would be more available for nucleophilic reaction. Empty orbit are also available for electrophilic reactions. Got it? So if any nucleophile approaches, also there would be reactivity seen on dienes. If an electrophile approaches, also the pi bond will attack on it, you know. So this is one thing. Remember that it's a very special thing for dienes, that wherever there are dienes, they will have more reactivity. Similar thing is happening here. The diene character is carried whenever we have allyl groups. So allyl, due to this donation here, this pi cloud shifting here during the transition state in SN2, this LUMO is quite available for it. So here this LUMO is quite available for it. Okay. So PHS minus will attack on backside. Similar thing is happening here above also, where this pi orbital character is present on which SN1 dash reaction is happening. Okay. So I suppose all of you understood SN1 dash and SN2 dash. Even if you don't understand the molecular orbital concept behind it, just remember that the allyl positions, wherever a nucleophile is approaching, there is a high possibility it will attack on both ends. Okay guys, right.
Sir, what is the percentage?
Beta? In this
What is
case,
the
both of between these two, here they are equivalent. Na? So let me take one non-equivalent case, okay? So then you might understand. Right. So I'll take one non-equivalent case. Suppose if there is a double bond here and leaving group here, okay? And if we treat this with ETOH, okay? If we treat this with ETOH, we will get two carbocations here. One carbocation will be this way, the other one after rearrangement. Okay, and as you treat that with ETOH, we will get this following products: OET, OET here, and OET here. The major product is always at the less hindered carbon, whether it is SN1 or SN2. Okay, this has been
sir,
observed.
what about SN2 and SN2 dash?
I'm coming there. First, understand SN1 dash, then same question will go for SN2 dash. Is SN1 dash clear here? This is SN1 dash. This is SN1. Okay. And wherever the least substituted, just keep it as a note. The reason is the regioselectivity is based on steric hindrance on incoming nucleophile. Okay. Right. In the case of SN2 now, suppose if at all we have SN2 here, same thing, double bond here, Cl here, and this time I am taking PHS minus. Okay. Again, SN2 can happen on this side, SN2 can happen from the opposite side here. So if you check out the energy wise, because this time it is all about the energy concept, so SN2 is more seen on the substituted side. So SPH double bond with double bond and SPH here. So this is SN2 product, SN2 dot product here, dash product, and this is the major product here, and this is the minor product, which is quite the contrary of what we studied earlier. Okay. note allylic LUMO is less energetic than alpha carbon. Okay, why? You can think about this way, guys, because here it is the allylic carbon which is there, it is actually pi star, while here it is only sigma star. So between sigma star and pi star would be at the lower energy, so attack would be there. Guys, have you understood that, everyone?
Sir,
Yes,
such type of reactions happen only for strong nucleophiles.
only for strong nucleophiles. SN2 is only for strong nucleophiles, SN1 is for weak nucleophiles.
For this case, SN2, SN2 prime 1, only PHS minus.
Not only PHS minus, any strong nucleophile. Okay,
Okay.
even if you take RO minus, even if you take HS minus. Okay, so all of them will give you SN2 prime, you can call it prime or dash, SN2 prime as the major product. Okay, I hope all of you made a note of this. Faster. Right. Now let's see what is nucleophilic substitution by neighboring group participation, NGP. This mechanism is also called as n-chiremic assistance. I would want all of you to keep writing simultaneously. Give the heading as SNNGP. This notes is very important. This part at least is very, very important. SNNGP. The mechanism is called n-chimeric assistance. One second, guys. Just drink some water and right, check this out. Okay, what about this n-chimeric reaction? Let's see. Where it has started getting its importance is when these kind of reactants, if you check out, PHS, which is connected at this end, and on the other end chlorine, which is a better leaving group, is connected. Similarly, OTS, which is a better leaving group, is connected, and here also OAC and OTS is connected. Now when I compare these two, right, PHS with Cl here and CH3, see, PHS, this is slightly going to give maybe little bit of inductive effect, okay, small amount of inductive effect, which might increase the rate of SN2 reaction. But strangely, it has been found that when you react that with water, it is almost 600 times faster than this. Similarly, if OTS is present here, instead of this PHS, if CH3 is present, the rate has increased almost 3000 times. And you can see these are mainly with these weak nucleophiles, H2O, CF3COOH, CH3COOH. These are all with these weak nucleophiles. So we are expecting some amount of SN1 reaction, but these cases, especially the SN1 reaction, is going very fast. Here everything is same, just the geometry is different. Then also it is almost 670 times faster than this. So that means there is some special assistance which is definitely coming in between, due to which this kind of a reaction is happening. Okay. In fact, if you check out this in bicyclo compounds, if OTC is present on this side with respect to this double bond, got it, on this exocyclic bond, and without double bond and with double bond is making a difference of almost 10 raised to power of 11 times. So that's huge. So definitely there is some kind of an assistance which is happening, because of which this reaction is going this way. Okay. So first make a note of this data, then we'll go ahead. In which case it is happening faster, just make a note of that. So what I can say, we have seen that some halides or tociles, some halides or tociles are formed to undergo, found to undergo, substitution at a faster rate, if third or fifth third or fifth position from reactive carbon. Reactive carbon means alpha carbon. Reactive carbon which is occupied by, that means the third position or the fifth position is occupied by species like PHS minus, I mean pH is connected, so it will not minus, just PHS is connected on that. So OAC is connected, okay, and they will have lone pairs. NME twice, this is connected, only pH is connected. C double bond OOH, acid is connected, or R CO minus is connected, that is carboxylate is connected, bromine is connected, O minus is connected. Okay, just as an important point here, not OH. OH directly does not show NGP, and pi bond is connected. Pi bond. So these groups which are connected at third position or the fifth position are giving that extra assistance to increase the rate faster. So hence these are called neighboring groups, and because they are participating in the reaction, the type of mechanism is called neighboring group participation. Okay. So please write this statement and then we'll go ahead. Done with that. Now let's see how the mechanism is actually going here. See this guy. Suppose if this is a reactant, keep writing along with me. So pH S, it is connected. See the positions now. First I'll label the positions. This is carbon 1, which you call it as alpha carbon. Second position, third position. So you can see on the third position there is a sulfur atom which has a lone pair on it, and we are expecting that there is a reaction with H2O. If it is going for SN1 reaction, H2O is a weak nucleophile. Usually, because it is a primary carbon, SN1 reaction do not favor at all. So it will go for SN2 reaction only, but very slowly because it is a weak nucleophile. Okay, but what is happening before even H2O approaches, because it is a weak nucleophile, before even this H2O approaches, the lone pair present on sulfur is attacking on the alpha position and removing this chlorine. Okay, so this is what is happening is intramolecular SN2 reaction, SN2 mechanism. So there is an intramolecular SN2 drive by lone pair present on sulfur, and chlorine is being removed out. Then we get this three-membered ring, can see, and this three-membered ring is less stable here, correct? So after formation of this, water will attack on that alpha carbon which was present. So this was the first carbon, second and third, right? Now water could definitely attack on first carbon or second carbon because both of them are equivalent as of now. For water, because both of them are connected to sulfur and both of them are symmetrical with respect to sulfur, water can attack from either of the side. And since both of them are methyl only, it doesn't matter. So bond could either break from this side or this side depending upon where it is attacking. And either of the case, you will have finally this product forming. So what happened here? Observe. First, an SN2 mechanism has taken place. So this is also an SN2 mechanism which is intramolecular. Again another SN2 has happened. Okay. When the first SN2 happens, usually we expect an inversion reaction. I mean inversion of the configuration. Again one more time an inversion SN2 is happening, one more inversion is happening. Already there was an inversion, inverted product. Again one more inverted product will come, so which will eventually become a retention product. So SN-NGP will always retain the final configuration. So in the final molecule, the whatever the initial configuration which was present will be retained in the final product. Okay. So therefore, this NGP mechanism undergoes via two times inversion. Hence, retention of configuration is observed. Retention of configuration is observed. Please make a note.
Sir, this is true if water attacks on carbon 1, sir. Retention happens. But what if water attacks on carbon 2?
What if?
If this is true,
Correct,
retention
correct.
happens.
Correct. Okay, then we'll get racemic mixture. We'll see the next question. Okay, I'll do one thing. Don't write these two arrows because I'll show it in the next example. Everyone has noted that. So I'll take this as question number 1. Second, suppose if this is the reactant, keep writing with me. Okay, let's say we have chlorine, hydrogen here, and PHS with lone pairs on it, and hydrogen here. So this is a chiral center. It would have some configuration already. Okay. Now when you treat that with H2O, first thing what we are expecting, this chlorine will leave and the lone pair will attack here. So as it attacks, now we would see we get this kind of an intermediate P, PH, sulfur, making this 3-cyclic bond. And now when H2O attacks, got it? You could see H2O can attack either from this side because that is equivalent, or H2O can attack from this side. Okay. So what we can see here, we have H, PHS, got it? Because if it attacks here, it's like this, if it attacks here, it will remove here. If the attack is from this end, this bond will break. So in either of this case, we will have HPS with OH coming here and H here. This is one case. In the other case, we can see OH coming on this side and H here, got it? And H and SPH coming this side. These are the two products we can expect. And observe that products carefully. So in case if at all I try to superimpose both of them, got it? Their configurations are opposite. So what are these two? And both can come 1:1 ratio. Hence, we will get a racemic mixture. Hence, we will get a racemic mixture here. Please make a note. Okay. So just as a note, I'll write this. NGP is two sequential SN2 reaction. Okay. First is internal attack, internal SN2. Second is external SN2 by nucleophile, and first one is by Ng. Have you observed one thing? Because it has to go for SN2, the leaving group and the NGP has to be opposite to each other or anti to each other. So that is an important condition if it is within the molecule with a restricted carbon ring, right? In that case, orientation already has to be at the anti position. Okay. So I will write it as a note here. For NGP, neighboring group neighboring group and leaving group must be anti to each other. Okay, right. Another point is for NGP, concentration of external nucleophile should be less, otherwise normal SN2 can take place. Normal SN2 can take place. So we will try to always maintain the SN1 type of a condition where we have weak nucleophile, their concentration, either it is a weak nucleophile or their concentration is less. Okay, so then NGP will be the better, then we can definitely expect NGP to happen. Okay. So all of you done with this? Shall we do few questions now? Let us do few important questions. So first, starting with simple one, CH3. If you have an oxygen here and Cl here, okay, and I react that with ROH, right? Now what can we expect here? See, always check out the positions. This is carbon 1 and this is second position, third position. On the third position or the fifth position, I am not finding any kind of a lone pair group there. Okay, so I'm not finding any kind of a group there. So definitely this is not an NGP case. And since it is a primary position, SN1 also doesn't take place. So only SN2 will happen. So SN2 will happen with CH3. So, got it?
Sir, if cation is formed, that oxygen may stabilize
sorry,
it.
SN1, my mistake. Oxygen is next to it, sorry. So oxygen is there, so CH2 plus, lone pair present on it, so that gets stabilized by OTT, oxygen double bond CH2 plus. Okay, and then reaction with ROH, so we will have CH3O, the lone pair here will attack here, this pi bond shifts, comes a lone pair CH2 and OR. This will be the final product. So it is only driving through SN1 reaction. Make a note. And now if I start keeping at the third position some group like chlorine and react that with ROH, this time we can definitely expect NGP to happen. Check out the position again, carbon 1, carbon 2, and this is the third position. On third position there is a lone pair carrying sulfur, oxygen, nitrogen, anything should be there. So now what do we have? We have pH, S, this group with carbocation, sulfur positive charge. Chlorine will come out this way when sulfur will attack. And on this, ROH will attack as a nucleophile. This group will rearrange. So we'll have pH, S, and OR. This will be the final product. So here it is done by NGP, or I'll write this as SN-NGP, and here it is only SN2. So this is a previous JEE question. TS is present here. Okay, this were given as a label. One label was given as a square, the other one given as circle, basically showing that these two are different isotopes. This is how the question was given, and they asked to react with ACOH, acetic acid, and we need to find out the final product. So in here what is happening, the minute OTS leave, the pi bond will support this time. Okay, so the pi bond will support here. So what is the type of an intermediate which is forming? Let us check. This double bond and this double bond are intact. Okay, and we have a connection with this carbon. This was the circle one, this was that square one, and the positive charge is on this ortho position now. Then ACOH, this is SNNGP, and ACOH, because both of them for AC crowding is equal, so the probability of attacking on both the carbons is same, and as soon as they attack, this pi bond, the bond will break and again get back to formation of pi bond. So we will have these three pi bonds, one with OAC with circle here, another again OAC, this time square here and circle here. So both the products will almost form 1:1 ratio. Keep practicing, everyone. Those who have done can try this. CH3, CH2, S, CD2, CH2 and Cl with H2O. Try this and see what is the product. Those who are able to do continue. Those who are not getting, just check this. Sulfur will make bond with CD2 here, and the connection is with CH2 here with positive charge on sulfur. Then H2O can attack on both the sides, and it is having equal probability to attack on both the sides here. So you'll get two products, CH3 sulfur with CD2 and OH plus CH3 sulfur CD2 with CH2 OH. Both this product can form. OAC, and the other side we have OTS reacting with ACOH. Second case, OAC, OTS, ACOH. Check out the numbering of the carbon. So first, second, third. On the third position, sorry, I've written it ulta. So we could see that first, second, third. Third position we have OAC group, and OAC group is also going to give ancomeric effect. So both should be opposite to each other or anti to each other, and in the first case it is there, so it will go for SN-NGP. Okay, so there is a simultaneous attack of OAC and and removal of OTS. Again ACOH will come back, so retention will take place. So that's why you will get this product as OAC, and this will also be OAC. This is the final product. So you can see on the carbon 1 position there is a retention. In the second case, put it here. In the second case, since it is not anti to the neighboring group, is not anti to the leaving group, so it will go for simple SN2 only. So OAC will be here, and there will be inversion of this configuration. Sorry, OAC.
So in this first part,
Hmm?
if in the first part, if you form a ring and attack on the other carbon in which the leaving group was not there, the second one,
Okay, I'll show you
second
that.
carbon.
I'll show you that. We have oxygen and C double bond O, which is present here, and then there is a leaving group going from here, OTS. Okay, so the lone pair present on this side, this should have more density to attack, and as it attacks, now what kind of a group is forming here? We'll get O, C, CH3, CH3, double bond O, and a bond this way with positive charge. Got it? This is how it is. Now when the when the nucleophile, which is ACOH is approaching, correct, this would attack on this position only because the carbon delta positive is more on this as compared to this one now. If it was connected with sulfur or something, then both side attack would have been even, but not with this acetate one. Okay.
Okay.
So bond will break on this side because oxygen has to retain its electrons. So C double bond O will again retain back. So that's why attack will be only on one direction, not on two directions. Is that clear, guys? Right. One